Hello and welcome to the How to Use Wikipedia and Not Get Into Trouble tutorial. First things first, my name's Joe and I'm a librarian. So, I want to go through a little scenario you're probably familiar with. It's Friday, it's right before the weekend, you're really excited about the weekend, you're sitting in class, bell's about to ring, and right before the bell rings, your teacher's like, "Hey class, I want everyone to do this assignment over the weekend and turn it in on Monday. You have to find all this information and tell me where you found it and blah, blah, blah." And you're like, "Oh, this is awesome. This is no problem. I'll be able to do this afternoon. It'll be no worries. Then I can enjoy the weekend and I'll just use Wikipedia, look up the information." And then the teacher's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you can't use Wikipedia." And of course at this point you're like, "No!" And at this point you're thinking, why? Why do my teachers hate me so much? Well, it's possible that they're just evil people. But what's more likely is that they don't want you to use Wikipedia for a different reason. And to understand that reason, you have to understand what Wikipedia is. Basically, Wikipedia is a place where people can share stuff with each other. Anyone can create or edit the information on Wikipedia. So, as a result, if we think about the list of people that can edit Wikipedia articles, it's infinite. There is a lot of people on this list, and some of them are more trustworthy than others. For example, your little sister, if she wrote an article about physics, you probably would not use that for your school assignment. On the other hand, if someone very smart wrote an article about physics, it might be trustworthy. The problem is, we do not know who creates the information, nor do we know if they even know a lot about the subject they're writing about. There is, however, some good ways that you can use Wikipedia, and there is a lot of good information on there because there is a lot of really smart people that do create things on there. So here we are on the Wikipedia homepage, and I'm going to show you some of the good ways that you can use Wikipedia. So, let's say, for example, your teacher wants you to find information about Paul Revere. You know how to do a search. You type in Paul Revere in the search box, and that brings you to the article about him. Now, normally, you might just pull information straight off this page, which is not what we're going to do today for the reasons we talked about before. However, what we are going to do today is explore this article and talk about some of the ways you could use it in your assignment without taking information straight from the article. So, let's say normally if you were looking up information on Wikipedia, and let's say you're looking for when Paul Revere was born. So we have that information here. He was born on December 21st, 1734. Alright, now normally you might just take that and say, okay, well that's the day. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at where that information came from. And the way you do that is by looking at these little footnotes here. You can see there's a 3 here, there's a 4 here, there's a 5 here, and they continue on down through the article. Alright, but let's look at this one specifically for his birthday. So when you click on these little numbers, what it does is it brings you down to the citations section. Now what these are is it's just a little pointer that tells you where the information came from. It came from a book written by this guy named Triber. He wrote it in 1998, and it even tells you the page it was on. It came from page 7. So how can we use this for your assignment? Well, as you can see, this Triber character here is popping up a lot. So that means there's probably a book he or she wrote that has a lot of good information about Paul Revere. So what you can do at this point is click on these. You see they're actually little hyperlinks. And if you click on one, it takes you down to the bibliography section, and it gives you the full reference for that. So it's actually a woman named Jane Triber who wrote it in 1998, and it's called A True Republican, The Life of Paul Revere. Now what you can do with that is you can take it to your local librarian and say, hey, do you have this book? And chances are they probably will, if it's such a great book about Paul Revere. So at this point I'm sure you're thinking, but Joe, come on, I'm not going to go to the library just for this one assignment. And I see your point, which is why I want to show you the next section, which is the external links section. This is basically just a listing of other places where you can find information about Paul Revere. Some of them are more specific, but a lot of them have just general information. For example, the Paul Revere Heritage Project here, if you click on it, you can see it has basic information about who was Paul Revere, and it has a biography section. Alright, so that about wraps up today's lesson. Here's what I hope you learned. First, that Wikipedia has a lot of information, which you probably already knew. But it is both good and bad information, because we don't know who wrote it. It is, however, also a great place to find other sources of information, and you can do that by checking citations and bibliographies, as well as looking for links to other websites. So, once again, I am Joe, and I am a librarian, and I would encourage you, if you have any questions about anything we talked about today, to email me at my email address here. Or, if you'd like, you could even just go to your local library, and I'm sure they'd be happy to help you there. Oh, what's that? Oh no, it's the evil demon teacher! She's back! She's back! Ah!